looks like we are live today on the T Podcast. We have a fun episode. They're always fun. Some of them are a little bit on the edgier side, like last episode with Jerry Bob. Jerry Bob, if you're watching, man, I love you. It is what it is. I'm still going to support your business. But on that note, we have Cory Ledoux, who is a local. I say local. He's a local guy, rising Cajun TikTok creator. That's a mouthful, but you're going to learn a little bit about him. We're going to be talking it up with him about his love for the area. He's also a local fitness guy. We're going to open all that up in the conversation, kind of figure out who he is. In the caption, you can find his links. I got his link tree, but also his TikTok link and his Facebook link in there. So if you want to go follow him, you want to go check him out while you're watching, you can do that. But anyway, before we get started, our studio sponsor is Optimized Generator People. They can help you stay powered up. Let me just tell you, whenever the hurricane season is here, because it's here, they can power your home with confidence during any outage. Optimized Generator People specializes in reliable home standby Generac generator solutions. It's a mouthful, but they have great expert service, tons of awards. I've seen them. Control your power, control your life. OptimizeGP.com. Check them out. They support us. They're supporting local, and we really appreciate them. And then real quick, our next presenting sponsor is Chase Group Construction. Great local guys. They build it all. They are design build firms. So if you're looking to build a business or renovate a business, those guys are going to be who you want to reach out to. Chase Landry, super good guy. They built a bunch of stuff around the town, around the city, around the Acadiana area. You may recognize some, the Fat Pats in Broussard and Bro Bridge. They built those. They're also building the pickleball restaurant in Youngsville called Smash. Really cool business. They're supporting local as well. So check them out, chasegroupconstruction.com. Really appreciate them. And with that, let's get on with the episode. All right, Cory Ledoux, welcome to the T Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, Ben.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about you, man. Before we got started, I was going to say that you are a dietitian, but you said you were a dietitian. So tell me a little bit about you.
A little bit about me. All right. So basically, like you said, I am a local guy. I was born in Mamou, raised in Eunice. Did live in Lafayette, actually, for several years. I graduated from UL, actually. So I actually plan on moving back maybe this way pretty soon. Dietitian, whenever you're trying to choose a career path, I guess, it don't always go the way you think it's going to go, right? So I was a registered dietitian for a while. I was actually a renal dietitian, so I helped patients who had kidney failure.
Oh.
Yeah, I did that a lot. Most of the jobs, honestly, there was a dime a dozen in the hospitals. For me, I'm more into the wellness part of it, more preventative versus trying to help people who are already sick, because a lot of times when they're really sick, it takes a special person, right, to deal with sick people. As a renal dietitian, people are always dying. I'd get to know somebody a week later, a month later, or something like that. They would pass away. One guy passed away in the parking lot. Very crazy. So that does wear on you, and I'm more like life. That's kind of how I am, and so that was kind of hard on me. So I was trying to find wellness dietitian positions. So I'd even apply to the Saints. I applied to LSU, to the football teams, because that would have been like a dream job.
Oh,
for
yeah,
me, right?
For sure.
But that never happened. Even applied to UL once or twice. Never happened. So things just kind of started to evolve, and I just wanted to get out of that field. I couldn't find the job that I wanted, and instead of just sticking it out and just kind of it wearing on me, I kind of had just got out of it and never got the opportunity that I wanted. And so I ended up just letting my license lapse, but fell into functional health and wellness. And that was kind of like a whole nother part of health and wellness, but on a different level. So that's why I'm not a registered dietitian no more.
So a functional health and wellness guy. When you say functional, like you're just talking about somebody who's able-bodied, living. What does functional mean in that sense?
Yeah, it can mean a couple of different things. For me, functional is going to be the everyday, whether it's prevention through food, prevention through exercise. I want to say it's the opposite of medical. Okay, medical, you may get medicines prescribed to you and things like that. They don't really get to the root cause. Functional, if I had to say what functional is to me, is definitely root cause situations. Root cause, how to just prevention, things like that. Really,
man, you're talking to people in South Louisiana, and you're talking about prevention. Like
yeah.
Like I feel like you're really climbing up a steep hill, and trying to do all this.
Oh, I know. I eat rice like 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
I'm 42 years old. I'm not on any medicine. I does sound like an oxymoron.
Wait. You said you're 42?
Yeah, I'm 42. I turned 42 in May.
Stop that.
May 26th.
No, I mean, I'm not trying to flatter you or anything like this, but I feel like you're 35.
Yeah. I feel like I'm 25. I seriously. I have no ailments. If I'm being honest, no medicine, no ailments. I got a couple gray hairs, maybe 2 or 3 that's coming around. But yeah, man. So.
I mean, I'm not on any medicines or anything like that. I take nasal spray here and there.
Yeah.
Whatnot, but. Man, 42?
Yeah.
Like even your forehead doesn't have any permanent lines yet.
Not too bad.
Like I got permanent lines on my forehead. I'm like, oh my God, I'm 39. I'm like, all right. Why is that right there? But it's crazy. All right, so you wanted to, go into, the sports medicine kind of that area, but that didn't work out. And so now you let your dietitian license lapse. What are you doing now? You're in that functional space you said right now?
Not per se. It's more 100% of my lifestyle. I'm not actually I don't have a business with it or anything like that. Every once in a while, people who know me, they'll reach out to me. I've helped people. I have done nutritional counseling on the side at one point. I'm not doing it too much right now. Well, I'm not doing it all right now because I'm not licensed. But I've helped people with cancer. I've helped people with diabetes. Any kind of I would say just chronic disease. I've been able to help people, and I've done a lot of nutritional counseling with people. But as far as that goes, if people they reach out to me, people who know me or whatever, I'll talk to them, man. I'll give them all my knowledge. I may drop a little something here and there on like TikTok, but I'm kind of just rolling with what works right now, and I'm not trying to, like I said, it can be kind of counterintuitive. It can be an oxymoron to think Cajun or Acadiana or Louisiana and health and wellness, but it's all about you eat real food. I guarantee you're not gonna have a problem when you start adding MSG. You start adding all these other different foods that is actually not natural or it's not good for you. That's where you kind of get in trouble with the inflammation in the body. Inflammation equals heart attacks. Inflammation is probably the root cause to a lot of diseases. So if you eat real food and you're active, I mean, you could put a good argument on that. You can't eat Cajun food and still be healthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So MSG, man. So I've heard through certified, I don't even know if this is the correct way to say it, but it is what it is. Certified Asian foodies, and they say MSG is all right. What about MSG is bad? Because isn't it like the king of flavor?
It does enhance flavor, kind of like salt enhances flavor with food. With MSG, it's monosodium glutamate. It's an excitatory, neuroexcitatory. So or it can be an excitotoxin. It can literally destroy your brain cells. It excites it so much, like it goes crazy, and it can cause you to lose brain cells. So, not a good thing to eat.
Okay, all right. Well,
not often, at least,
Yeah, no. So I've heard, and I don't have any proof in front of me, but Chick-fil-A uses MSG.
Yeah.
Do you know that for sure or no?
I don't know for sure. I've heard about it.
Yeah. Because I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah,
I mean, it would make sense.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Man.
You know, all those angry Christians on Sunday. Like, why can't they be open on Sunday?
I know, right?
Gotta get my fix.
It might be doing them a favor, maybe.
Oh yeah, right.
At least one day a week where you don't have MSG, you know?
Yeah, because I've always wondered, MSG, you know, when you go to like the Asian buffets and or any, like, especially in the places in the mall, there's a big sign, no MSG.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, as a kid, I didn't know what MSG was. I'm like, okay, cool. It doesn't sound like it's what I want anyway. But now, you know, being older and, you know, the word's getting out that MSG is a flavor component. And there's some Asian creators talking about, oh, MSG is the king of flavor. Why are you dissing it? I'm like, man, maybe we want the MSG. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, hydrogenated oils are the king of preservatives, but do you want a hydrogenated oil, you know, in your body? You probably don't. That's in everything. That's what keeps your stuff stable, you know, and it's not good. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right on.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this time to get my next sponsor in because I don't want to miss an opportunity to talk about some good stuff, and I want to get straight into it. So our next sponsor is Music Academy, Acadiana, and let me make sure I got this on right here. Because am I doing this right? Yeah. There we go. Music Academy of Acadiana. Acadiana's top music school for lessons and learning music. You can record an album there too once you learn music. It's a great local school founded by a local guy, Tim Benson. He's on the Criers emo cover band. If you haven't heard about the Criers, it's really cool. Check Music Academy of Acadiana out. They've been supporting us for a hot minute now, like probably 5 years or so, maybe longer. But great local company. Check them out if you want to learn music or if you have a kid that's interested in music. Doesn't matter if you're young, old as dirt. You can learn music, and they teach everything. So check them out. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your TikTok rise. I feel like I've started seeing your account probably for the past 2 to 3 weeks ago is when I started seeing it. When did you start posting on TikTok?
I literally started posting probably about 2 months ago, maybe 2.5 months ago, and I probably had about 100-something followers, 200-something followers. But I had my account for about a year or two. I was a scroller, always just scrolling. But yeah, started about 2.5 months ago posting.
So you've had your account for how many years now? A couple?
At least 2, 3, maybe 3 probably.
And you were a lurker, and now you
trying to contribute a little bit.
You're trying to contribute. All right. So whenever you decided to start posting, like I didn't take the liberty to go back to see what your first videos were, but like, what was your thought process of jumping into this? I don't want to call it a cesspool, but it can be into this world of creating videos on TikTok.
It is, I don't know, man. It's kind of just evolved. For some reason, there's a thing going on a few months ago about the Creator Awards pilot program, and this was all on my For You page. It's like, if you get 1,000 followers, you can be accepted to the For You to the Creator Awards program, and there's a potential to start earning money. So I was like, man, everybody made it sound really easy. Like every time somebody was on my For You page, it sounded like it'd be an easy thing to do. So I'm like, let me just post a little something. I don't know. So I kept posting. I'd post again, and I just kept posting, and then I just became consistent. And I don't know why. Some people would say some stuff here, and I'd get some little views. I'd get some little likes and things like that. And then I had a little cat. It was the neighbor's cat. Mm-hmm. The mom got killed at the store she worked at. She brought the little kitten home. The little kitten was next door on the steps, started coming to my porch every day. So my first video that kind of went viral was about 100,000 views I got. And I was like, man, this is pretty cool. And then everything slowed down. But I was just consistently posting. And then I was like, man, something that might resonate with people. And one of my first videos that really hit hard was me talking about lost bread. Growing up, you ever heard about lost bread?
No.
So lost bread, it blew up. So growing up, we called it lost bread. Lost bread is just the English word for pain perdu. Some people call pain perdu, but pain is bread, and then perdu just means It means loss. So it's French toast, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
But it hit with everybody. And like, man, I remember that. So it just went crazy. And then I did a little males boudin review, males. In Eunice.
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's over 1 million views right now. And I think my Pampered one is over 1 million. I got like 2 videos that's over 1 million. And
Maybe
so
I
just
did
started
see
rolling.
that. Maybe I did see that. Now that you're saying that word, I do remember you saying that.
Yeah.
So maybe you're talking about. So you just said if it was French toast.
That's all it was. I just said lost bread, or do y'all lost bread? And I was talking about lost bread, just something that I grew up with, a memory that we love.
Yeah.
And I think it resonated with people.
Well, so what's crazy is you said you grew up in Mamou.
I was born in Mamou, lived in Cameron for a little while. Most of my life was Eunice though, and then Lafayette towards the end and back in Eunice.
Mamou to Cameron.
Oh yeah, family in Cameron, yeah.
Yeah. So were they working offshore? What was that about?
So some of them worked on the shrimp boats. There were some primos and some fonteneaux, but anyway, we lived over there when we was real young, and my stepdad worked offshore most of my life. But we did live over there for a good year or two, I think.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. And so then you came back and you spent most of your life in Eunice.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, Eunice, man. We went to Eunice several times as a kid because people know the story. I grew up in Turkey Creek, but if you didn't know that, congratulations. Now you know. Turkey Creek is essentially, maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes away from Mamou, give or take. But let me tell you, it's different.
It is.
It's so different. So you know where Pine Prairie is, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I went to school in Baishiko in Pine Prairie. I graduated in Pine Prairie, but grew up in Turkey Creek. Spent a little bit of my toddler years in Lake Charles, but mostly Turkey Creek. And Turkey Creek is at that spot where you can tell the Cajun French influence kind of just starts to taper off. But I remember there's a bunch of things that I remember as a kid that were bona fide Cajun culture stuff. So my mom and dad, a lot of times for breakfast or before lunch, they would go to the local little convenience store down the road, grab some boudin and some Evangela made bread and a Coke.
Oh yeah.
And that was what they would eat essentially for breakfast right before lunch.
That's right. And
I'm like, as a kid, I was like, I don't understand that. I want pancakes. Well, whatever. I was not a big fan of boudin at all as a kid. I just couldn't. I would see people sucking on the skin, and I'm like, that looks like the grossest thing I've ever seen in my life. But that's just me being weird. I was a picky kid. But I mean, I grew up with stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Organ meats in the store. Oh, yeah. Whenever I go to the little convenience stores were the specialty meat markets for us. In Pine Prairie, they had one. When you walk in there, you could find bovine heart or whatever you want to call it in the Cajun French method, but tongue. I would see that, and as a kid, I'm like, what is all of this?
Oh, yeah.
I ain't touching it. I want the ground beef from Walmart. Just give me that.
Without the liver.
Yeah, without the liver, man. And so growing up in that area, my understanding of Cajun French is just, it's 50-50. I don't, the exact split on that, but my great-grandmother was super Cajun Frenchy, my mom couldn't stand the way her grandmother said her name. My mom's name is Tammy, but my great grandmother made a Tommy. Oh yeah. Very Cajun Frenchy. Mm-hmm. And she lived to be, very old, but my grandmother, my mom's mom, was French speaking as a child, predominantly only French speaking. She had to learn English, which some people don't even realize there was a time where Cajun French was being shunned and people were forced to learn English.
Yeah, they whipped them, they beat them, different things like that.
Yeah. So thankfully I never got to experience all that because I was at that transition phase as a kid where I was English speaking. So we were never forced to talk Cajun French, even though I would hear it. Mm-hmm. Even at McDonald's as a kid, I would see all these old men talking French, drinking black coffee, and I'm like, oh yeah, right up in the McDonald's too, man. It's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah.
So in Eunice, man, tell me what's crazy is, by the way, Eunice is so influential that I don't know why. Why is Eunice a very warm or even hot little spot for business owners, for people that do things in the Cajun culture sphere?
I think if you look at the area, when you hear about Eunice, or the people who don't know about Eunice, I think the culture is very strong because you got part of Acadiana, and if a lot of people may not be familiar with Acadiana, but it makes up Cajun country basically. But then you have Eunice that's part of the Cajun, what is it called? Not the Cajun Prairie, but also the heart of the Cajun Heartland is what I'm looking for. So that's part of the Cajun Heartland. And you talked about Pine Prairie and Turkey Creek and all that and how different they are. When you go to Mamou is the Cajun Mardi Gras capital of the world, and it's the home of where the Cory de Mardi Gras started, which is the Cajun Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
So Eunice is part of that too. You only got a handful of people who celebrate the old Cajun Mardi Gras, and that in itself is so unique. That's partly probably what contributes to it. Every year for Mardi Gras, they have the Mardi Gras. They come in, they do a couchon de lait that morning. Well, not the Mardi Gras, but everybody does the couchon de lait where you butcher the pig. See, back in the old days, they didn't waste nothing. That's where boudin came from. That's where cracklings came from, or gratons. That's where all that came from. And so Eunice has a history, I believe, because of that. I think that contributes to all of that, and it's a nice little place, I mean, the accents are probably like, I did a post the other day. I don't want to get off subject too bad. A lot of people get hate for the north of I-10. People say you're not Cajun if you don't go north. I said, Cajuns were here before I-10 was even here, first of all. But you got people just hating on it, and I was calling. I did a shout out. I was like, bro, you got Eunice, you got Mamou, you got Ville Platte, you got Port Barry, you got Church Point, and people said Basile, and they get some other little towns, Iota and all that, which is actually T Mamou. They call Iota T Mamou, and then Big Mamou, Grand Mamou is Eunice, and then Eunice. I mean, Mamou is Grand Mamou, but and then you got Eunice. But anyway, just a lot of culture. I think the accents are heavy, and people don't. I don't know. Maybe people realize that.
So I've been look. This is a fascinating thing in just trying to understand Cajun culture and like the hot spots. And it's funny also because you make some content about your accent and people saying that it's fake, and people that are from here can typically tell when somebody's faking or like exaggerating. And I get it. Sometimes there are some creators who will exaggerate their Cajun accent a little bit just because, that's what they're leaning into. But I could tell, like, just watching several of your videos, I could tell, like, this guy, that's just how he sounds. Like, you could tell when somebody slips up. Like me, if I was to try to like,
you should go ahead and try it. No,
no, like every once in a while, I'll say "mela" or like stuff like that, and I definitely use it in like typing because I love that connection to the culture. Now, to try to say I'm gonna talk Cajun Frenchy accent, like for me to do that, it only comes out a little bit here and there.
Right. Yeah.
Like if I'm like in a debate with somebody and like we're kind of like on the back patio and we have a little drinks in us and like we're going back and forth, it'll come out. And you can tell like when you talk faster, like there's some cartoons, not to get off subject, but in that same vein, King of the Hill. Yeah. They made an episode where they took a road trip to New Orleans and Bill Dauterive, one of the characters in there. Are you familiar with King of the Hill at all?
I do remember King of the Hill growing up, yeah.
Okay. Bill Dauterive, he's like one of the guys in there. Apparently he has family in Louisiana. And they're French speaking, whatever have you, Cajun French, I don't know. The way that they portrayed the Cajun French language was horrible. Horrible. I'm talking about slow and like, oh man, like I'm like, no.
Oh yeah, that's about
like
right.
if you know true Cajun French people, they talk fast. And like it's like it's not slurred, it's not like long and drawn out. But like, yeah, it was like poor depiction. I was like, and every time I see that, I'm like, no, they're faking it. Like, that's not real. That's a very like Southern drawl version of what I think they were trying to accomplish. But yeah, so.
Yeah. They say it's one of the hardest accents actually to mimic, especially like in Hollywood and all that, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean, Bobby Boucher,
Lord.
Waterboy.
Yeah.
Look, all credit goes to Adam Sandler. He did a decent job of coming across somewhat Louisiana. I would say not like Cajun French, but like, you know, as a kid, I felt like I was watching a movie that was based in Louisiana until I learned it was filmed in Florida.
Oh yeah,
like whatever.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Well, it was filmed in Florida. Like, okay, you know, there was some references in there, like South Lafayette High School of Cherokee Plains, Louisiana. Like, first of all, I knew as a kid, like, there's no Cherokee Plains, Louisiana.
Right, exactly.
No, where is this? And then I was like, oh, South Lafayette. I'm like, maybe they're talking about actual Lafayette. And then I was like, you know, I think Yahoo or Google was around at that time, and I was like, South Lafayette High School. I was like, there's nothing like that. Yeah. There's a Lafayette High School. Right. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, Hollywood likes to do what they do with, you know, and you're right. It is one of the hardest accents to get right, because you gotta be born in it. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
There was the big debate with the X-Men that came out last year with Gambit. I didn't realize Gambit was supposed to be a Cajun character. So Gambit, are you familiar with X-Men really, or just in general?
The cartoons whenever I was younger, but not the movies or any of the recent stuff.
So this one was part with Deadpool, I believe.
Okay.
Recently, and apparently Gambit has he got him a little part, and it's Channing Tatum who plays it, and apparently it's the role he wanted all his life, and you know, they say he grew up in Mississippi or whatever, I believe Mississippi, maybe Alabama, and he had friends or he knew people down here, but he actually put Lafayette on the map when he was on a talk show with Jimmy Fallon after he did that. And anyway, everybody said he did a pretty good accent for not being a Cajun, but then a lot of people feel like if you're a Cajun, you know, you're always gonna critique everything. But anyway, so that was another thing that was the last big, like, I feel like Cajun accent that we was exposed to, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, going back to, there was something I was thinking about in connection with Cajun Prairie and the Cajun Heartland. This before I went off on a little tangent there. So what I find fascinating about Acadiana and people's perception of what Acadiana is, because if you ask, you know, 10 different people, you're going to get 10 different answers. For me, when I first moved here, I believed, because the way people were talking about this area, that Acadiana comprised of like 7 or 8, maybe 9 different parishes. And I was like, okay. So, you know, Googling it, I was like, oh, the state recognizes 22 parishes.
Exactly.
And I thought it was hilarious because I was like, Calcasieu? But what's crazy is there was a movie, I forget what it was, something in the Chenier area, Grand Chenier area, and it was very Cajun Frenchy. I forget what it was, but it had like one of the characters was a slower character, like just developmentally, and it was based in Calcasieu Parish area, Cameron Parish, and I was like, but that's weird to think that Acadiana is
down there, yeah,
you know, Calcasieu Parish. And then on the other extreme, St. Charles Parish, which is butting up next to New Orleans Parish, is apparently a part of Acadiana. And then it goes, obviously, every parish below that, and all the way up to Avoyelles Parish. Almost Rapides. Rapides is not Acadiana. Rapides is South Arkansas. I know that joke's played out, but it is. It's like North Louisiana. Yeah. Evangeline Parish and Avoyelles Parish are pretty close to each other. I think they're right next to each other, and Avoyelles kind of goes a little bit higher. But apparently Avoyelles Parish has a strong Cajun French ethos or whatever. Really? I mean, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
But with Paragon Casino over there, that's the only thing I know is the Paragon Casino.
That's all I know.
And Bunky.
Bunky, yeah.
Freaking Bunky trash. No offense to people that live in Bunky, but I hear it's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
But, okay, so going back to Lafayette. Lafayette is, by most people's standards, now you may debate on this, Pardon. I know you said something. You like to use that word.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll talk about that in a minute. But Lafayette Parish is considered the heart of Acadiana.
Mm-hmm.
It's tiny, little bitty, and actually, if you flip it upside down, it does kind of look like a heart, kind of.
Look at that.
Yeah, you kind of wrangle it, get it right. But then every parish that touches Lafayette Parish is considered Cajun country, I guess, or Cajun Prairie, whichever. I know there's Cajun Heartland, Cajun Prairie, and Cajun Country. I don't know where Cajun Prairie and Cajun Country live, but I think in Evangeline Parish, where I grew up, I think that's Cajun Prairie. That's like out there. Cajun Heartland. The closer you get to Lafayette, that's the Cajun Heartland. Do you agree with that? Like, what is your take on that? Because people look at Lafayette that are outside of Lafayette as not Cajun.
Okay.
I know it's interesting to think about.
Right.
Because you mentioned on one of your videos, big city Cajun,
Yeah.
and little town Cajun,
Yeah.
and Lafayette is big city Cajun.
Right.
I feel like we do have a lot of Cajun influence here, but I feel like it's not because of Lafayette itself. It's everybody around Lafayette that has come into Lafayette that gives Lafayette its Cajun French heart. Like people from Eunice,
Right.
the Rev Coffee founders from Eunice, Johnson's Boucanier, or however you say it.
Johnson. Mr. I remember
Yeah,
him. He was out of Eunice.
Yeah, they started in Eunice. I think they started their store in Eunice. I don't know if it's still there or not.
The building's still there.
Okay, the building. But they opened this location, and then that old man, he was there for a long time. I think he passed away a couple of years ago. I mean, they're from Eunice. A lot of people are from Eunice, and the Johnson family, that's a lot of them too that are from there.
Yeah. Small town Cajuns, I feel like the small towns anywhere are more concentrated, versus Lafayette. You got people from, it's a college town. So I feel like it dilutes it.
It's more of a melting pot than anything.
Right. And the culture's there. Like people always said Lafayette does a good representation for kind of a big city for Cajun, Baton Rouge don't do that. New Orleans is not Cajun.
Absolutely not.
Definitely Lake Charles. You could put that to Texas or whatever. And then you got Shreveport. Like the more people call it Shreveport. But you have all those people. And then growing up for me, the Cajun Heartland State Fair. That's Lafayette, right? That was my mom took me over there for my birthday one time, and Lafayette is kind of special. It's the big town. You came over here to the mall. You came over here to the movies and stuff like that. Even though we had a movie theater in Eunice, but it was going to almost like going on a vacation for us. As kids, I just made a post the other day. We used to ride in the back of a truck. Back in the day when people rode in the back of the trucks, we ride in the back of the truck all the way from Eunice on the interstate.
All the way to Lafayette?
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time, man. We did that. Yeah, all the time, bro. It was nothing to jump in the back of a truck.
Bruh. Okay, so a couple of comments came through. Chara Beans. All right. Cool name. I just discovered Cory.
All right.
And then Katie, LeBrenton. I feel like I'm butchering it. LeBreton, whatever it is. Either way, she runs her and her brother run the Big Bad Boot podcast.
All right.
Out of I think it's Hammond, Slidell area. They want she says, we want to come on the show. Oh, y'all want to come? Okay, they want to come on the show. Well,
nice.
But they might reach out to you too. By the way, they've been reaching out to a bunch of people because they have a really cool show. They're like comedians.
Oh, nice.
And they have like a very you check them out. They have a good listenership and
check that out.
Some funny stuff. But so yeah, they just commented.
There you go, bro.
Okay, so Lafayette. Growing up in Turkey Creek, we mostly shopped in Alexandria. It was 30 minutes away from us. Lafayette was an hour away from us. It made more sense to go to Alexandria. Alexandria is redneck city. There is no Cajun anything in Alexandria. There wasn't. I don't remember at all anything to think of that would. Yeah, no, there was no influence. But our big days out, like if we went shopping, like we wanted to do something special, we came to Lafayette.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, that was our big city getaway because it was an hour away.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, when we got to Lafayette, we did the least Cajun things that we like. Okay, I know
Go
people.
to Chili's or something. No,
Wait, hold up. Y'all both have nice legs. Thanks, Catherine.
appreciate y'all. Yeah.
Catherine, her and I told her I was gonna have you on. She was like, "Oh Lord."
Oh, nice.
Okay, so yeah, thank you, Catherine. I got my jorts on today. I'm hoping to make a video.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we come to Lafayette, and I'm gonna get some flack for this, but whatever. It is what it is. We come to Olive Garden because we didn't have that
Mm-hmm.
in Alexandria. We didn't have that anywhere. And we grew up, like I said, having boudin and all that good stuff there. And we wanted Italian food, and we didn't have a good Italian place anywhere near us. And so the ads on TV, watching KTC, KLFY, guess what we would see? We would see ads for Olive Garden.
Yeah.
And guess what? We'd come to town, eat dinner at Olive Garden. Now, when I was little, that's what, that was the big thing. My mom and dad, we didn't have a whole lot of money growing up. And for them, that was a nice dinner. It was pricey for them.
Yeah.
And then after that, we go to the mall.
Mm-hmm.
You had to go to the mall. And back then,
That's right.
early 2000s, the mall was
Yeah.
amazing.
That was the place to go.
It had the cobblestone floors. It had a vibe to it. Some people say that they had, I remember the water fountain, but they had a puppet show apparently. They had a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And the mall was a spot. And now I remember the mall whenever Hot Topic came. That's whenever I remember the mall. I was a scene kid, you want to call it. I loved emo, like punk music. And Hot Topic was my jam.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to come to the mall just for Hot Topic. And I enjoyed my visits, man. It was like they had a McDonald's in the mall. It was like amazing. Now the mall, it's all right. It's on its way down, but they vanillaized it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a word. Vanillaized. It's like there's no character.
Not the same. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we go to Best Buy. Yeah. We go Olive Garden, the mall, Best Buy, home.
That's it.
I didn't know Lafayette beyond that. All I knew is if I ever got any information about Lafayette, it was watching KLFY or KTC and seeing what's on the news.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't go there for Cajun stuff neither. I mean, when you're in a small town, and that's why Cajun restaurants don't do the best, I feel like, because everybody cooks that,
That's what I say.
Yeah, what was it, Couchon that was down there? They opened up for a little while down in River Ranch.
Oh yeah, off of
that
Camellia.
shut down. I don't know why exactly, but I feel like
Wasn't that a Baton Rouge based restaurant though?
I know I know New Orleans.
Or New Orleans. Maybe it was New Orleans.
I know New Orleans got one for sure, and actually it's supposed to be a place to go to. I've never been to that one per se, and I think it was different than the one over here. But it's on my list to go to in New Orleans. But yeah, we didn't come to Lafayette for Cajun stuff neither.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, and people. Chance Fontenot, he says, "Hey y'all, Chance Fontenot, he's my little boy's baseball coach. He has a Cajun seasoning line and some Cajun barbecue sauces.
Oh, yeah.
He's out of Arnaudville or Grand Coteau, Arnaudville, I believe. Yeah, really cool stuff. Yeah. But so in the comment section, anytime I post about a new food place coming to Lafayette, some of the comments that I get is, why do we need another Mexican place? Why do we need another Chinese place? And the comment is, why can't they put, and they use the word they as if I can do something about it. Why can't they put a Cajun restaurant?
Yeah.
I'm like, and I respond with this. I'm like, look, if a Cajun restaurant were to survive here, it would have done it. And there are some that do survive here.
Yeah, Don's.
But, and I addressed them directly. I said, but you guys don't support them. You guys are not supporting them. You want Cajun restaurant, but y'all not there.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, we got Don's Seafood. That's kind of Cajun-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the original one in downtown was probably the more Cajun version, but you got Don's, you got Dwight's.
Dwight's, yeah.
You got Dwyer's. I think Dwight's and Dwyer's, I think they're two separate. I think, if you can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, they got Cajun food. Then you got the Cajun Table. Local guys, they own a crawfish farm. So they source all their own crawfish. The Cajun Table is off of Ambassador near Kali Saloon.
All right.
Oh Lord, am I hitting all kind of buttons here? But yeah, if you want Cajun food, that's a place I tell people to go.
Is Préjean's Port of Lafayette or no?
Yeah, I mean Lafayette Parish. So
Okay.
Karen Crow. I mean, I consider
I've been
all
there in
that
years,
is so Lafayette Parish is Karen Crow, Scott, Broussard, Youngsville, a little bit of Dusson sometimes because it's on the line.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
saying. So I made a T-shirt once. I said something about Lafayette, the city, Broussard, Youngsville, Scott, and sometimes Dusson.
Oh yeah.
and because it's true, like
right.
we don't look at Dusson as part of us, but
Yeah.
sometimes we do. It's like
Right.
today you good.
Right. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so we have a very picky base of people in Lafayette
For sure.
in the area, and
Yeah.
you know they're quick to critique. Like
Yeah.
for example, if you see somebody's cooking video, oh my God, I think that's the prime Cajun content at this point
Yeah.
is critiquing other people's cooking.
Oh yeah. Everybody does it different, but everybody's is better than the next one, you know? So,
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's like, okay,
all
everybody knows, you know, roux is you do gumbo with a roux,
Right.
but everybody has their own way of doing roux.
Yeah.
You know, some people will say it's 1-to-1 ratio, one, you know, flour, 1 to oil.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do a little bit less oil, however you do it.
Yeah.
Jar roux. Don't let me get started on jar
Oh
roux.
Lord.
Look, I say this, and I'm gonna get hate, and I'm gonna get people who appreciate.
Uh-huh.
I use jar roux. You know why? Because they did the work for me.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
Mhm.
Could I make my own roux?
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah.
I've never done it, but I could if I
Right.
really wanted to, you know, spend an hour over the stove, slow turning, you know, freaking flour and oil all day. But I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. I want to get quicker to the finish line.
Yeah.
And Carrie's roux out of Ville Platte,
Mm-hmm.
they did it right for me.
Oh, carrots, yeah.
I like Carrie's. It you know, some people say, oh, I like Savoy's and whatnot. Savoy's is good, but I like Carrie's.
Yeah.
Carrie's, it just has a good flavor. And
Yeah.
I use a half a jar for my little family's pot,
Yeah.
and nobody ever comes, and whenever they eat the gumbo, nobody ever says, this tastes like jar roux.
Right.
Nobody.
And carrots, that's north of I-10 now.
It's north of I. And going back to that, whenever I see somebody say, oh, you from north of I-10, it pisses
Right.
me off so bad. I want to tell them, like, look, the majority of what I consider Cajun influence,
Mm-hmm.
now I know there's some in 985 that got Cajun influence from the
Right.
bayous area.
Yeah.
But like, especially in Lafayette area,
Mhm.
like Cajun influence for me comes from north of I-10, the Ville Platte area. Like,
Mm-hmm.
think about the seasonings that you get, Opelousas area. The seasonings that we get
Yeah.
all come from north of I-10.
Slap Your Mama, Tony Sashers, all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of them. And the roux, a lot of them come from north of I-10.
Yeah.
I don't know where Savoy's comes.
I'm not sure where Savoy come. I think that might be north of I-10, but
I
I'm
feel
not
like
sure.
it is. I feel like Savoy's feels like it's Church Pointy Eunice.
That's what I feel like
It
too.
feels like, I don't know for a fact. You know what?
Isn't Savoy sausage too? That's
Yeah,
right.
they
But,
got the
okay,
sausage.
that's by my house. That's Eunice area.
Okay, where is oh god Savoy's sausage from? We're gonna live Google this.
Oh yeah, I know the sausage kitchen's on the outskirts of Eunice.
Opelousas, bro.
Oh really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, they got them a little.
The company
kitchen
was
over there.
founded in 1955.
All right. Yeah. there you
Yeah.
go. All right.
Look at that.
Shout out to them North Cajuns, North
See,
I-10.
look, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
north of I-10 has got Cajun down.
Oh yeah.
But people south of I-10, oh man, I got the Cajun. You know, y'all not Cajun from north of I-10. No, we are, bro.
Yeah, go ahead with that.
It just they and there's a comedian, a Cajun. I don't even know if I want to call him Cajun. DJ Rhett.
All right.
Okay, you know DJ Rhett.
I've seen his stuff. I've seen his stuff pop up
Okay,
before. Yeah.
look, as you become a little bit more ingrained in your newly found creator rising role here,
Uh-huh.
you're gonna start realizing that there's little pockets of people that have some influence in the southern Louisiana area.
Yeah.
And DJ Rhett
Mhm.
is one of them.
Yeah.
And he likes to stir the pot.
Oh yeah, I heard his stuff. He's down the bayou and all that
Oh,
area,
yeah.
whatever that is.
Pasta
you know.
Laya.
Yeah, he hates on people for that.
He hates Pasta Laya.
Yeah, I heard him once or twice. I came across him once or twice.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But he seems like a good guy though.
Yeah.
He's just doing it
I
for.
bet he is, you
Yeah.
know.
And what's really cool, not to stay on him because I want to get some more on content from you. He doesn't drink on camera. He always has a glass of alcohol, but he'll never take a sip. And apparently it's an ongoing thing with him. Like, oh, y'all thought I was about to take a sip or something.
I wonder if it's to prevent some violations though, like drinking
it might be the violations. Yeah.
Because he got him a little glass of wine one time I seen, but you know.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to your content. So the very first video that I saw from you, and I know we said we wouldn't bust your balls about this.
I'm expecting it,
but I feel like you know I got some apologizing to do us, I guess, kind of. One of your first videos was you in the car, and you're taking videos of billboards, and I think I think the first one might have been Don's, and
Billy's, I think.
It was Don's and Billy's. Yeah, you were on I-10. and look, let me tell you, my first impression was this guy is driving through South Louisiana, doesn't even live here.
Right.
Or he might be from Lake Charles, and he's driving through I-10, sees the billboards, and he learned a new Cajun word called pa bon, and he's over there, oh, Don's, pa bon, Billy's, pa. I'm like, hold up. Those are like some good places. Now, look, I'm not a boudin connoisseur.
Right, yeah.
But those are good places.
Yeah.
There's some products that I think other people, like, you know, some people say Billy's is too spicy. Some people say Don's is too spicy. So a lot of people say the Bed Stop is too spicy. Everybody's like, oh, this is too spicy than the other one.
Right.
But that was one of my first videos I saw of you. And
when you reached out to me, yeah.
But, well, yeah, and then I saw another video. And you were driving down Highway 90, I think, and you saw a billboard, another billboard, your Pa Bon series here.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, B-loads, Pa Bon. I'm like, hold up. I got to stop the brakes. This guy said B-loads.
Now, you weren't the only person out that
corrected me. So I will give you this. I had to learn how to say that word here. Now, I don't know how it's pronounced everywhere else.
Yeah.
But for me, whenever I moved to Lafayette area, I said that name to someone. It was probably either on the podcast or something, or I met somebody with that last name, and they were like, oh, it's Biodes. I'm like, I said, hold up. Yeah. Where did the L's go?
You're right. Yeah.
Like, they just disappeared.
It's that en français, the E.
Yeah. So I'm like, Biodes? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I said, I'm looking at it. I'm like, I have no clue how you got that, but whatever. And so when I saw you said B-loads, I said, hold up. This guy ain't real. It's B-O's. And then other people were in the comments chiming in. I'm like, okay, now I kind of feel kind of bad.
Yeah. But let me tell you why I pronounce it that way. Because in Eunice, you know, you got Ledoux, and we don't pronounce them Ledoux. And so when I seen Billows is what I call it. When I seen B-O's, I call it Billows. I know what an EAU sounds like, but the first part threw me off because from my Eunice, you know, connection there. So
yeah.
But I may say it right from now on. I don't know. I'll see if I.
No, you know, honestly, you say however you want to say it. You know, I think that's the thing that us in the Cajun sphere, I struggle to say. I struggle to call myself a Cajun, even though I grew up in the Cajun Prairie, Cajun country area. I'll just say this. Us Cajuns have a bad problem with judging other Cajuns.
For sure.
We're quick to do it. Yeah. Now, we'll go eat at your house.
Yeah.
If you invite us, we eating at your house. Now, but when we leave your house in the car, we're like, oh, my God, that gumbo. Did you taste it?
That was a thin roux, boy.
Did you taste that? Because, look, it was watery.
All right.
Or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
They didn't put any okra. They put okra. I don't like okra in mine.
They put okra with the sausage, you know.
Oh, yeah. Or I don't even know where the tomato thing came from.
That's a New Orleans Creole. A lot of Creole dishes, they use tomatoes and things like certain jambalayas and different things, I believe, from what I understand.
I don't know anybody. I've never met a single soul who puts tomato in their gumbo.
Yeah. Me neither, actually.
And if they do, they getting stoned. like I don't know if that's
they go here too.
Politically correct. They'll verbally get stoned. Like I'm not eating this.
Right, yeah.
It has a red color to it. It's funny.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pull that out.
But
like they say, throw that in the long grass. I don't know where some people like that say that over here, I think.
Yeah.
If something's bad, throw that in the long grass.
Yeah.
I guess when you throw your slop out, you just
No.
throwing it out in the
So my
alley or
grandmother, anytime she had old food,
whatever.
she put it out in the tall grass,
Oh, yeah.
the long grass
The
they
long
called
grass.
it. Yeah, like leftover rice, like old rice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just
Threw it
toss
out in the yard,
Throw it out.
in the grass that they didn't care about.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
long
right.
grass, essentially.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the part that's not mowed, that one.
Right, yeah. That
And I'm like, being a kid, I thought that was normal.
yeah.
And now
yeah,
I'm like,
I still do that sometimes.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I don't know if the environmental EPA or whatever is going to come at me for this,
Oh.
but like I had some old oil,
Oh.
and I don't want to ruin my pipes.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I said, I got a little hole in my backyard. I'm gonna go dump that oil back
Yeah,
there.
bro.
Yeah,
Throw a little dirt on top of that. That's you good.
yeah,
you good.
it's all right.
This could be fine.
Nature's gonna take care of it. I don't know.
It will.
I think it will. It's gonna be fine. Now, if it's motor oil, I'm not gonna do that.
No, yeah, that's
yeah,
a different
no,
story.
that's different.
All right, for sure.
But cooking oil, I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
don't worry about
whatever,
that.
pop on.
Don't worry about that. Yeah.
So I got a question, man. Do you normally use like words like that in your everyday life? Is that normal use of words, or do you use some of those words mainly for content? Like,
No, 100% is in me. I grew up with that. When I was younger, honestly, when I got older, I didn't realize I was using French. We would use French words, I knew a guy. His nickname was Pabon. I know a guy from Lafayette. I met years ago. His name was Boudin. That was his nickname. But everybody called him that, Boudin. But Pabon, all that stuff growing up, man. It's just in me. It's like when you would tell your people to come see. They viens voir. A lot of people say viens voir ici over here, but we would say viens voir or things like that. Come sit down. The little kid come see. So we grew up with all these French words. I don't speak it fluently per se. I wish I have all the books. I would love to do that more. My papa and all them spoke French, and my mama and all them. But yeah, I love the culture, and I don't have to be. It comes out naturally, especially if it's appropriate, right? When it comes out, it just comes out. But yeah, so I still use all them words.
so yeah.
Yeah.
So Catherine Lemoyne says you're supposed to dump your cooking grease in your neighbor's
Oh.
bushes.
That's a good idea, bro.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
They're gonna be wondering why their bushes are dying. Hey, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's the weather,
Yeah.
global warming.
It's been dry.
Yeah. So whenever I moved to Lafayette, so grew up in Turkey Creek. We established that, and that's only an hour north from Lafayette. I worked. My first job was in Ville Platte, so I got to be around tons of Cajun French people all the time. Like we established Carrie's, Slap Your Mama, freaking Jack Miller's barbecue sauce,
man.
all made there.
Yeah.
And so very, very significant area for me. But whenever I moved to Lafayette, there was names and there were words that I never heard before. I guess it just wasn't super common.
Right.
Or maybe I didn't hear them as a kid and it didn't stick. So my wife, she grew up in Opelousas, Lafayette area. Like this is where she grew up. And those who don't know this, we met at a hot tub.
Cool.
Yeah, at my apartment complex.
All right,
so,
man.
And look, we still
There you
together
go.
15 years later.
Nice.
So the hot tub worked out.
There you go.
But so growing up, she used words normally for things that are around the house that I never like croissants. I'm like, what's a
I
croissant?
just made a post about that this morning. A video about that.
That's awesome. See, somebody else had made a video about the word croissants recently, and I don't think it was you, but you made one this morning. So I was like, that's true. Like, that's a word that I just started hearing whenever I moved to Lafayette in 2010, but I never heard it growing up. Whenever I grew up, it was draws.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's what we called it.
Yeah.
Not underwear. Now I call it underwear now just because
Right.
I vanilla-ized it, and but my wife will still say
Yeah.
croissants.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
still say that.
okay, so I get it. I know what you're talking about now. Or like when she wants to go to sleep, she wants to go dodo.
Yeah. Grew up, same thing.
Whenever
To go
she
dodo.
first said that, I said, "You want to go what?"
Right.
She goes, "Dodo." I'm like,
Yeah.
"What is that?" She goes, "I want to go to sleep." I'm like, "Well, just use the word
Right.
sleep." Like, I don't know what does dodo mean. Like, So there's things that I'm learning now, and then I don't necessarily use them every day, but my wife will still do that because she grew up with her grandmother's still alive, and she's 86, and she's got some Cajun French. Her husband was John. Oh my God, he was a singer, and I think he was on. I think he's in the Louisiana Hall of Fame, Music Hall of Fame. I think he played with Belton Richard.
All right.
One of those Cajun musicians from the times gone past. But so yeah, she grew up, Cajun French, obviously in this area, and they call a place in Houston, near Opelousas, Houston.
Houston?
I don't know if you ever heard of Houston.
Never heard of that place.
But apparently there's a place called Houston near Opelousas, Sunset area.
All right.
So she has a lot of that. But yeah, man, there's last names too. Let me tell you, there's some last names. When I got people coming on to the podcast that have these last names that I have to learn how to pronounce.
Yeah.
Well, Bios was one of them, obviously, but there was another one. I don't know if this is Cajun French. Schuneman. I don't think that's Cajun French. There was another one. Oh my God. Okay, no, this one. Lejeunes.
Yeah.
Okay, you. I see you made a face.
Oh yeah.
What about that? Where is the R?
I don't use the R, me personally. My family, my brother's little friend grew up next to me. They called themselves the Lejeune. So there's no R. Now some people say Lejeune. Obviously, if you Americanize it, it's Lejeune. I say Lejeune because but Lejeune is how we use it. Like Lejeune sausage, Lejeune. We don't say Lejeune. Now that's a little thing. I guess people.
I think that's colloquial or whatever they call it.
Regional or something like that. Yeah. But Lejeune.
Yeah, man. So there's a guy that I had on. He has a seasoning. Everybody has a seasoning blend.
Have to make me one, I guess.
And I know you need to make you one
as well.
I know the company you can go to get it made too. Target at Opelousas.
Yeah, Target.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
But yeah, his seasoning is called Lejeune's Best Cajun Seasoning.
Okay.
And the way he says it is Lejeune's. I'm like, and he stresses that R. I'm like, where's the R?
Right.
I had him on, and look, Nick, if you on, cool man. I love your seasoning, by the way. I use it all the time, but I still can't figure out where the R is. And he would say his last name, and he would say it, and it sounded like he was saying an R, but I would say Lejeune or Lejeune or Lejeune. I would say. Because now that I know that people are saying it with the R, I'm starting to like sway to that.
Right.
But I don't know why. But I saw a video, I don't know if it was you or somebody recently, talking about that last name having the R, but it's not there. But it's because there's certain combinations of letters in the Cajun French language or French language in general that produce a sound. I'm like, I don't know. How am I supposed to know all this?
Right.
Like, I don't want to butcher somebody's last name, but everybody has this crazy name, dude.
Well, it's like Fontenot. If you look at Fontenot, the only way you could spell Fontenot, it's not E-A-U-X or E-A-U or O. It's you have to Fontenot. That's how you have to do it. Because my mom was a Fontenot, and then we got family. But Fontenot, if you look at it, it's crazy,
Yeah.
So
Fontenot.
Yeah.
Hey, Fontenot. But I knew Fontenot because in school, thankfully, like in the Bayou Chico, Ville Platte area, Fontenots run deep.
Yeah.
I feel like every region, there's a last name that runs the place.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
In Church Point, there's a lot of falls.
Okay.
At least
falls. Yeah.
My wife's family, a lot of falls, craters.
Oh yeah.
Or craters, whatever you want to call them. Yeah. Them. But yeah, Ville Platte area, Fontenots, man. Yeah. Fontenots and the Tates, and there was another one. Richards, maybe? Yeah, but honestly, whenever I moved here, I haven't seen too many Richards. I knew of the sausage Richards, but when I saw it in somebody's last name, I said Richard.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they corrected me and said it's Richard. I'm like, my bad.
That's like David. Your last name is David. David. Yes. David. Yeah.
My librarian at school was Miss David.
Oh yeah.
And whenever I saw her, I never saw her name written out. I would only hear it, so I knew to call her Miss David. But whenever I saw her name written out, I said, Miss David?
Right.
Who's that?
Right. Yeah.
And then somebody said, no, that's Miss David. I'm like,
Yeah.
I said, hold up.
Yeah.
How did you get that?
Right.
Like, where's this at? Another one, man. I had a good friend way back since 3rd grade, Cody Hebert.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. A-Bear.
I know where you're going with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Herbert or whatever, that's spelled different. Is there, because A-Bear and Herbert, so like, because I'm not sure. But yeah, A-Bear, yeah.
Yeah. So Herbert's different.
Yeah.
Is there an R in there?
I think Herbert has an R in it. A-Bear don't have an R, I don't believe.
No, yeah. Hebert or A-Bear does not have an R. It's Hebert.
That's right. I mean, yeah, they have an R, but like at the back.
Yeah. But I remember growing up and using his last name interchangeable. Like I would say Cody Hebert, like, because on the intercom, whenever people get checked out of school,
Right. I remember
the lady on the intercom would say Cody Hebert.
Yeah.
Or whoever's last name was Hebert.
Yeah.
And then some people would say Cody A-Bear. I'm like,
yeah.
I said, so buddy, which one is it? It's like, you said it's A-Bear. I'm like, I said, okay, I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I'm just, that's my 50-50 coming in.
Right.
In that area of Baishigo, Turkey Creek, where it starts, the Cajun French influence starts to drift away. It's more on the English version than not. Mm-hmm. And so the closer you move down to the Lafayette area, the Cajun area of Acadiana, it just shifts, man. It's just so weird.
And that's why they say Louisiana is just so interesting, because you have all the different accents. You have it's crazy, It's just, Louisiana's interesting. They say we our own country, and I believe that we can be.
Dude, South Louisiana by itself,
exactly.
It's its own place.
Exactly, yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah.
Because you go to North Louisiana, the most dominant, the most dominant thing in North Louisiana is like the what I would consider the Southern drawl. Essentially, it's like the what I don't. This is not politically correct, but it's redneck. It's redneck.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, my brother. I was gonna try to like do the accent, but if I'm not in the groove, I'll butcher it.
Yeah.
But like, it's very. Come on, man.
Like twangy kind of too.
Going down to the river.
Right.
So like, I probably butchered it. I can do better once I'm like in the area and I hear people talking and I start like catching on. Yeah. But I grew up not wanting to have an accent, which is weird. Mm-hmm. Now, cause I kind of wish I did talk more Cajun accenty, but it is what it is.
Gives you character,
Yeah. Well, thank you. You have all the character here, and I'm over here, Mr. Whitewashed. Okay. Okay. Amber Fall. Let's see. She's replying to Catherine. She says, Catherine, or your landlords sink, depending on how humane they are. Oh Lord, look, you do you. If you got that vendetta. I don't know what word you use for vendetta, but yeah.
I don't know about that.
So, okay. So what are you planning on doing? Where do you plan on taking your newly acquired following? Because you started posting a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. No lie, 2 weeks ago, maybe less, you had 20,000. I think maybe even a week ago, you had about 20,000, a little over 20,000 followers on TikTok. You're at 43 now.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, I was at the farmer's market. I had about 300 something. So in about 14 days or so, I went from 300 and something followers to I'm almost at 50,000 now. So with that being said, like I said, apparently this resonates with people because everybody has their own opinion. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So everybody has their own opinion. When you post something, we say it this way or we like it this way. So that's fine because
that's how I found you.
Yeah, and y'all engaging with me. So that's awesome. Yeah, So you have that, then you have people from out the state and they don't know what's going on, but they're interested.
Yeah, they're confused and they're like, okay, this is definitely Louisiana something.
Right. They don't understand what's coming out of my mouth sometimes. They don't know. They're confused by the way I look and by the way I talk, like the out of state people. And I'm just bringing back memories, things I grew up on. And like I said, I guess it just resonates with people. I like Boudin. I want to do a Boudin trail. I went this morning to T-Boys. I'm going to edit my stuff. And, T-Boys and Eunice, like the first Boudin I ever had in my life was T-Boys and Mamou as a little, like T-tiny little kid, T-Boys. And they have it in Eunice. Hadn't been there in years, actually. And I went this morning. And man, I was really pleased that it was good. It was so good. So I'm happy about that. But the reason I was kind of hating on the interstate, I call that interstate Boudin, because I don't want to say it's commercialized, but it kind of is. But it is true to the area, I guess. If you're from out of state, you're gonna have you a good experience. But I do like the little town. I do like the little towns, and not everybody's good, but I do like the little towns. The little Boudin. But anyway, so things like that, I'll continue to do. I think things may evolve. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah.
No, I appreciate what you're doing. I mean, I don't think you're being, what is it, facetious?
Right.
Is that the right word? With it, I think you're just expressing your opinion on the Boudin. I think you're doing it in a way that obviously triggered a few people.
It did.
It triggered me a little bit because I was like, oh no, he's messing with the Boudin capital of the world,
and
bro.
he can't speak this person's name. You don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
you don't know how to say Beatles. Just so funny story. I say funny. It's funny for me because this is how fast you grew and my disconnect with your earlier content and the content that I was engaging with whenever I messaged you. You're not even gonna you realize this until I tell you. So I saw some of your content of you in person because your videos hating on the interstate Boudin was you were not in the shot. You were not visible. It was just the word pop on the screen and you were just saying, oh, this, that, pop on, this, that. And one of your other videos, it was you on the camera. I forget which one I saw first. It wasn't the coffee milk one. It was, a couple weeks ago that I saw. But you blew up in the past 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. It was probably maybe a week ago. I can't remember. But I messaged you because I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like he's popping off on TikTok and making Cajun, related content. I say it'd be cool to have him on, and I'm booked out to like September, October. That's awesome. But for my Fridays, but I was like, I need to get this guy in because he's super relevant right now. So let me get him in. And I messaged you based off a video I saw of you in person of your face. Okay. I did not realize whenever I messaged you that you were the same guy who created the videos paboing on all the Boudin. And whenever you messaged me back and you said, as long as you don't, bust my balls or whatever about hating on and it clicked. I was like, wait, oh my God, that's the same guy.
Oh, really?
I did not realize it at first.
That's crazy.
It was a disconnect because I associated that content without your face to be its own thing, and then your face being another, and it was like two separate. For me, it was two separate, and I didn't connect your voice because I'm so used to people sounding a lot like you. Especially my TikTok, my For You page is Louisiana-fied.
Oh yeah.
So it's just it's the way it is. So I'm interacting. I like anytime I see someone who's from Louisiana, I like and I comment. I'm just showing support whether they're small or big. And then I didn't connect your voice being the same because I hear that accent a lot. So it wasn't distinct enough for me. But whenever you said, as long as I don't bust my balls, I'm like, oh, wait, oh my God. And I kind of, for a second, almost regretted messaging. I was like, I feel bad. I was like, now I got to address that I called him out.
That's actually pretty funny, man. I just did not realize. I thought that was you was reaching out to me because maybe you just realized you see me in the you heard me right there and you knew that was me.
No, man. I appreciated the content you were making with you in the shot, and I thought it was cool. It's like, oh, this guy's like being. It's honestly putting your face on camera is a vulnerable position to be in.
It is, yeah.
And especially in Louisiana, South Louisiana, the amount of critiquing you get for being a Cajun creator at all, no matter what you do. Yep. Putting your face on you were brave. I said, look, you know what? I'm gonna show this guy some support. And then then I saw you were the same guy that I commented on that I showed some sort of not animosity, but like, you know,
Yeah.
dissing on the way he was saying stuff. I'm like, you know what? Life's not that serious. At that point, I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
He's just making content. He's just, he's just feeling the vibe. And I'm like, I'm gonna invite this guy on. It's gonna be good.
Let me be honest too. Whenever you invited me, you know what crossed through my mind?
What's that?
And if I'm being honest, I was like, bro, he's gonna put me on this podcast and he's gonna try to blast me in front of everybody. But I was just like, that was just me going in my head. Like you were gonna like just you know. But then as we kind of talked a little bit, I was like, man, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna do this. It's been kind of cool.
So what do you think so far? You think it's been good?
I think it's been really good, man.
Yeah.
I love everything that we talked about. It's naturally in me. I could talk about the culture all day. Everything we talked about is just, like I said, I love it. So it's been really good.
Yeah. I love this area too, man. Yeah, dude, we were cruising. This is an hour and 10 minutes.
Dang.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, if you're still watching, thank you. There's a few people watching still.
Nice.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I guess, you know, for sake of time and to be respectful of your time and people watching, I saw a big YouTuber recently make a video. He's going to all 50 states and making a big thing. And like, when I say big YouTuber, like he's big time. He's not Mr. Beast, but he's like, he communicates with Mr. Beast. You know who Mr. Beast is, right?
Oh, yeah.
If y'all don't know who Mr. Beast is, like, where are you? Like, he's... if you don't watch him, though, no hate on that. I don't watch him all the time either. But so Ryan Trahan.
Oh yeah.
You know where I'm going with this now. Okay, we know Trahan.
Right.
Okay, why say it like that? I don't know. It's part of the Cajun French thing. Anyway, Ryan Trahan on YouTube has a candy line. It's in Target. It's called Joyride. Anyway, he's making a video series going to all different 50 states. And he's on a road trip, him and his girlfriend, maybe his wife. I don't know. I think it's his girlfriend. Maybe his wife. He might be married. I don't know. But they made a video going to Louisiana. I think they were coming from Arkansas to Louisiana. I started watching the video, hopeful that they're going to get the quintessential Louisiana thing.
Right.
Let me tell you what they did. I'm slamming my fist together because it aggravates me so much. But Ryan didn't do this. He didn't know. But I wish he would have communicated with somebody in Louisiana, preferably South Louisiana, before they made the road trip. This is the road trip they took. This is the path they took. From Arkansas, they took, I think, I-55 all the way down. So they stayed in Mississippi.
Oh, Lord.
Almost all the way down until they got into Slidell or Ponchatoula area.
Past the horticulture up.
Past all of it up.
That's crazy, yeah.
Talking about, they can't wait to meet some Trahans. He's like, he did some research. He said the highest concentration of Trahans is from Louisiana because he said it's a French name and blah, blah, blah.
Right. I
was like, kudos to this guy,
right.
Ryan. He's going to make this really cool because he's going to meet some Trahans.
Yeah.
He's going to learn how to say his name and all this good stuff. They take I-55 through Mississippi to Airbnb in Ponchatoula, a mansion, by the way.
Wow. Apparently,
Louisiana, according to their research, is home, like the state with the most mansions or whatever they said. A lot of mansions. They stayed at a mansion, had its own lake and everything. And then this is the thing, okay? They want to go try some authentic Cajun food. They're in Ponchatoula.
I lived there, by the way, for a year and a half. But yeah.
Of course you did. Okay. They go. Where do you think they go? They want to try some Cajun food. What part of Louisiana do you think they go?
New Orleans, probably.
Yes. They went to New Orleans. I said, I literally wanted to scream, no.
Yeah.
Don't go to New Orleans. But you know what? They're not from here.
Right.
He's saying his name, Trahan, by the way. I know they're not from here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't dislike that for him. I do dislike it for him. I don't dislike him for that.
Right. Yeah.
I wish maybe somebody did say, hey, by the way, Cajun food, it's that way.
Yeah.
Creole food.
You're going the wrong way.
Now, are there some crossovers between Creole and Cajun? Of course there is. In New Orleans, it's mostly Creole. Like, they had some stuff that you would think would be kind of Cajun-esque, but like they did oysters, Rockefeller. I mean, that's not really Cajun all that much.
No, not really. No.
I mean, it's a little bit, but not really.
Yeah.
Like they had, I think they had like some other like, I don't know if it was etouffee or they did a gumbo or something. They did something. I was like, that's kind of.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, charbroiled oysters was invented actually in I think Acme or not Acme. They used to have it down here by the movie theater, and nothing could never stay at that restaurant.
Dragos, yes.
I think they invented the charbroiled oysters, but
they're based out of New Orleans, right?
they are, yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as that goes, so it's not really Cajun. But
Yeah, I mean, but Cajuns love it because it's seafood.
Right, exactly.
And it's got flavor, but yeah, I don't know. But
man.
So to that point, it's like when people recently, the Brits, you saw them, right?
Oh yeah, everybody's seen them.
Dude, everybody saw them.
Yeah.
The first place they went was Shreveport. And they got out of Dodge quick. But I think Shreveport's got some nice places. And it's, you know, you're going to get in and out real quick. But they made their way to South Louisiana.
Yeah.
And they rage baited us hard.
I
don't know if you realize that. They mispronounced a lot of stuff.
Oh, everything. I think they mispronounced.
And then they crunched on a crawfish shell.
I seen that.
Yeah?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah. So what do you think? Like, what's your opinion on people that are traveling to Louisiana? So this is where I want to end.
Okay.
What is your opinion on that? Obviously, we want it. We accept it. We want, you know, the people to come in and appreciate and experience the culture, the food of the area. But what is your take on people out of state and sometimes even in state, out of town, coming to this area and trying to experience this area? Like, what's your take? What's your advice? What would you tell someone to do, to experience first?
Yeah, man, if you could this is not maybe typical, but if you could find somebody, befriend somebody, let them cook for you first. That's ideally, you know, let them cook. After that, you know, figure out Acadiana, start in Lafayette. You know, I'm not opposed to that. You know, you want to start in Lafayette, and then, especially if you come from out of state, gives you an idea because it does a good, decent representation of Cajun country, big city in Louisiana. There's no other parts that's big city that's really Cajun per se. Go that way. You know, talk to the local people, maybe get their opinion on things. You know, but obviously you can't go too wrong if you figure out where Acadiana is at, and you know, you find these little Cajun places, you know, a lot of places not going to be, you may find a plate lunch, you may just, it's so easy to find a boudin place, you know, and usually when you go find boudin, there's all kind of other little things too, like some, you know, like your crackling and all that. But I would just say that, you know, steer clear of North and Central Louisiana. Just keep coming down a little bit more, you know, and come talk to us, come ask us some questions, you know. So,
yeah. No, that's the vibe, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I enjoy anybody coming in, like especially on social media, whenever they document their trips to Louisiana. I'm always intrigued of like where they're gonna go, who they're gonna talk to, how are they going to depict Louisiana? Because if they do the Hollywood route, they make us look stupid.
Oh yeah.
Like
sure.
Waterboy made us look like a bunch of fools. It was funny. I love the movie.
Yeah, funny movie.
But they made us look like we're a bunch of slow Southern people who are uneducated.
Exactly.
When in reality, like we had some really innovative, entrepreneurial-minded people here that will run circles around some of these people.
That's right.
100%. Like
yeah.
There's some of these older Cajun people.
Oh yeah.
In their 70s, 80s, some of them 90s, still going.
Yeah.
Talking about they eating boudin all the time, bacon, all the fatty stuff, and they are still, they got more energy than me, and I'm like, I don't eat that bad.
Right.
Like I don't eat great, but like, I feel like the way my mind and I was taught with all the food that we eat and how bad it is, y'all should have been taken out a long time ago, but y'all are still running circles around me.
Yeah.
So, but I enjoy whenever some people come through and they document their journey. They meet the people. They go to these little hole in the wall places because they talk to someone local.
Right.
They say you need to go here.
Yeah.
But like the Brits, they went to Lake Charles first. I mean that's fine. Whatever. East Texas.
Right.
They did try seafood. They did try a crawfish. They tried some things that are Cajun based, and then they made their way to the Lafayette area. They came into Lafayette Parish, but they never came into Lafayette.
Okay.
They came to Scott.
The Scott, I seen that.
They went to Billy's. They went to Arnaville to the Little Big Cup.
That's right. Yeah.
Which that's pretty good.
Not bad. Yeah, I've been there a couple of times. A few times.
And then they went to a couple other little places, but I think they did good for our area.
I think so.
But their ultimate destination was, trying to go to New Orleans. Their big city, or the city that is the biggest in Louisiana. Everybody knows Louisiana as New Orleans. Yeah. Oh, you live in Louisiana, so you must live in New Orleans. No.
Yeah, I like your New Orleans accent. People say it on my thing. I'm like, oh, okay. New Orleans.
Oh yeah, no. New Orleans, man. New Orleans is different, but we won't get in there. We're running on an hour and 30 minutes here, and we still got plenty of people listening. That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Thank you guys for listening. Dude, I really had a good time. I think we probably could keep going, and there's other parts of the conversation that could have been unfolded a little bit more, but trying to keep in mind of time and all that. But yeah, I appreciate you coming out. I appreciate you reading my message, because honestly, I don't ever know who's going to read messages. Like, I'll invite someone to the podcast and they may never read my message. But you being a local guy, and like, I feel like you're just starting to kind of blow up on the TikTok scene. I was like, maybe he'll still look at us little people.
I definitely try to look at my messages, because it's, it's a lot, but I do definitely go through all that when I can, for sure. So I'm definitely, it was an amazing thing that you invited me. So I definitely appreciate it. Man. Yeah. First podcast, so Well, yeah, man, this probably won't be your last. I hope not. I think if you keep going the route you're going, man, it's whatever your niche is, though. Yeah. If it's obviously Cajun based content, but like, I feel like you're gonna end up finding where your pocket of real good juice is. Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna keep rolling. Yeah, yeah. But I love the journey that you're on. It's like more of an explorative method. Yep. Right. Are you a part of the Creator Fund right now, or Creator Program? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. So are you making money? So this is my first week. I'm starting to make a little money. Nothing to like, quit my job on, obviously. But I see that there's a little opportunity there, So yeah, it's pretty cool. No, dude, I don't blame you for taking the Creator Program at all. I want to so bad. Like, I want to have an account that has over 10K followers for sure to jump on. Because I hear there's some people who do TikTok full time, but it's scary because TikTok can take it away from you at any point. It can. So it just depends on what community guidelines you cross or whatever. Yeah, they're very particular right now. So but man, kudos to you. Yes, sir. I'll know definitely if you start doing this full time. There'll be a moment where I'll be like, okay, he doesn't do anything else, right? But that would be nice. Yeah. Well, again, kudos, man. Congrats on the pop off here. A lot of people on TikTok and social media want that to happen for them. It's almost like hitting the lottery. Yeah. And so you definitely hit something, and I hope you continue on this path, and whatever it is, whatever niche you find yourself into, I hope all the success, and maybe there'll be a chance to have you back on. But I think for now, man, I think it was a good conversation. I think it was great to meet you. You too. Yeah. 42 years old. Oh yeah. Looking the way you do. Yeah. Keep that, dude. Figure out how to bottle that up. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir. Awesome, man. Well, Cory, again, I appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your week. You too. I don't know where your route is in Lafayette area, or if you're planning on heading back home right now or not. But I hope wherever you go, it's good and you have fun and you make some good content. And obviously, I'll be watching and following and sharing and doing whatever I got to do. I appreciate it. I'm going to keep going, man. And you keep doing your thing, bro. I appreciate it. All right. Sir. Well, I'm glad I was able to get your podcast cherry popped here. Guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, all that good stuff. And again, Cory, man, good luck and congrats on everything. Thank you, sir.